Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins walked into their joint practice with the Chicago Bears expecting to sharpen their skills against an outside opponent, but the session on Friday quickly turned into something far different. What began as a competitive but spirited atmosphere escalated into a series of scuffles, with players from both sides exchanging shoves and words. Yet the most surprising moment didn't come from any clash with Bears players. It came from within the Dolphins themselves. Linebackers Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson, teammates wearing the same colors, ended up in a physical altercation in the middle of the field. In front of coaches, media, and teammates, the two went from lining up together in drills to throwing punches at each other. While training camp fights are not unheard of in the NFL, seeing teammates battle in such a public way raised eyebrows, fueled speculation, and instantly became the headline of the day's events. When the dust settled and the weekend rolled around, the Dolphins had a game to play. A 24-24 tie against the Bears on Sunday that at least temporarily shifted focus. Back to football. But head coach Mike McDaniel knew he couldn't ignore what had happened in practice just 2 days earlier. After the game, speaking with reporters, McDaniel addressed the Brooks-Dodson fight head on. He explained that both players approached him voluntarily to share their perspectives on what sparked the confrontation. Importantly, they also chose to address the entire team, offering apologies for letting their emotions boil over in a setting meant for preparation and growth. For McDaniel, that willingness to step forward was a sign of maturity, even if the moment itself was far from ideal. He stressed that football is an emotional, high-contact sport, and clashes can happen. But accountability afterward is what defines a team's character. McDaniel went on to frame the situation less as an ugly fallout and more as a brotherly fight. In his view, this wasn't a case of lingering resentment or deep personal animosity, but a temporary flare-up between competitors who ultimately share the same goal. Still, he acknowledged that the optics were bad. Cameras capturing Dolphins. Players fighting Dolphins. Players sends a message the organization doesn't want to project. The coach emphasized that Brooks and Dodson recognized their behavior didn't meet the team's standards. They were not only accountable to each other, but also to every member of the roster. McDaniel compared it to disputes that happen in families, disagreements. That, once addressed, can strengthen bonds rather than weaken them. He expressed confidence that the team would emerge from the incident more unified, provided they continued to confront conflicts directly and respectfully. The fight, though isolated, fits into a larger narrative of tension surfacing during Miami's training camp. Earlier this summer, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa publicly called out star wide receiver Tyreek Hill, a move that drew plenty of attention given Hill's stature in the locker room. In another incident, Hill suggested that running back Devon Achane should be benched on third downs, which reportedly didn't sit well with the young back. These public jabs and disagreements have led some outside observers to question whether the Dolphins have the internal harmony needed to thrive in a high-pressure season. While competition and honesty can be valuable, the risk lies in allowing those moments to fester into division. For McDaniel and his staff, the challenge is ensuring that competitive fire fuels performance rather than eroding trust. From the outside looking in, the Dolphins might appear to be a team struggling with unity. The fight between Brooks and Dodson, combined with the verbal sparring between high-profile offensive stars, paints a picture of a group still trying to find its collective identity. Yes, there's another perspective worth considering. These training camp clashes could be evidence of a team that refuses to shy away from difficult conversations or emotions. Instead of letting frustrations simmer quietly, Miami's players seem willing to address issues head-on, even if it means conflict in the short term. In a sport where cohesion is critical, this approach can either backfire or forge a tougher, more connected roster. It all depends on what happens next, both in the meeting rooms and on the practice field. McDaniel's handling of the situation will be under the microscope as the preseason rolls on. He's built a reputation as a player's coach, someone who values open dialogue and emotional intelligence as much as play design. By allowing Brooks and Dodson to speak to the team rather than issuing a top-down reprimand, he demonstrated trust in his players' ability to self-correct. This approach can empower veterans and foster accountability, but it also carries risk. If further incidents occur without consequences, some might question whether discipline is being sacrificed for camaraderie. The line between supportive leadership and permissiveness can be thin, and maintaining that balance will be critical if Miami hopes to keep the focus on football. For now, McDaniel seems confident that the players have learned from the experience and that it will serve as a turning point rather than a recurring problem. Inside the locker room, reactions to the incident have reportedly varied. Some teammates saw it as a harmless dust-up, the kind that happens when competitive tempers run high in the sweltering August heat. Others privately expressed frustration that two players would allow a joint practice, already tense with the Bears, to turn into a spectacle. Joint practices are often designed to simulate game-like conditions, and discipline in those moments is seen as a sign of professionalism. Losing focus not only risks injury, but can also tarnish the team's reputation with opponents and the league. In that sense, the Brooks-Dodson fight wasn't just about two players, it was about the messages sent regarding the Dolphins' readiness and discipline. Whether Miami can shake that perception would depend largely on their conduct in the remaining practices and preseason games. It's worth remembering that NFL training camps are pressure cookers, with jobs, reputations, and contracts all on the line. For veterans like Brooks and Dodson, every practice rep matters, and competition for starting roles or key snaps can heighten emotions. Add in the physicality of joint practices, the natural friction between offensive and defensive players, and the scrutiny of media and fans, and the stage is set for tempers to flare. While coaches prefer intensity to complacency, they also know the fine line between aggression and recklessness. Fights might entertain fans in highlight clips, but they rarely help teams prepare for the grind of a 17-game season. McDaniel's message in the aftermath seemed clear. Play with passion, but remember the bigger picture, because every action on the field reflects the team as a whole. Moving forward, the Dolphins will have to prove that this incident was a minor blip rather than a symptom of deeper issues. Their schedule is unforgiving, and they can't afford to be distracted by internal disputes. The next few weeks will be telling. If Miami channels this energy into sharper practices, more cohesive gameplay, and a tighter locker room, then this fight might ultimately be remembered as a catalyst for growth. On the other hand, if similar incidents continue, questions about discipline and leadership will only intensify. McDaniel, Tagovailoa, Hill, and other team leaders will need to set the tone, ensuring that competitive spirit serves as a unifying force. The NFL season is as much about mental toughness and internal unity as it is about talent, and the Dolphins' response to this moment will reveal a lot about their readiness. For now, Miami finds itself at a crossroads between perception and reality. Outsiders may see chaos, a team whose stars are publicly clashing and whose practices are marked by fights. But inside the building, there's an opportunity to redefine the narrative. McDaniel's challenge is to take these moments of conflict and turn them into proof of resilience. If the Dolphins emerge from training camp stronger, more connected, and more determined, then this August fight could become an unlikely turning point in their season story. NFL history is full of teams that overcame early adversity to achieve great things. Whether Miami joins that list depends on their ability to learn, adapt, and rally behind one shared vision. In the weeks ahead, every practice snap and every huddle will be another chance to decide which version of the Dolphins takes the field in 2025. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? It's the kind of headline that Miami fans have been dreaming about all offseason, and now it's swirling through the sports world like a South Beach breeze. Dalvin Cook, the former Viking star running back, has reportedly landed in Miami today to finalize a one-year deal with the Dolphins. This isn't just a casual visit or some vacation trip. Sources close to the situation are whispering that the agreement is practically done, with only the signatures and maybe a quick photo op standing in the way. Cook, who has been a free agent since parting ways with Minnesota, is said to be thrilled about the opportunity to join a playoff-ready roster. The Dolphins, already loaded with speed at the skill positions, would be adding another dangerous weapon. But as with any big rumor in the NFL, fans are waiting for that official confirmation before breaking out the celebratory Cuban coffee. The buzz began early this morning when Cook was spotted at Miami International Airport wearing a casual tracksuit, but flashing a grin that had reporters raising eyebrows. Social media lit up with blurry cell phone pictures, flight tracker screenshots, and even a short clip of him rolling a carry-on past a Dolphins logo banner in the terminal. By mid-morning, insiders were hinting that he wasn't just here to meet friends or catch some sun. He was heading straight to the Dolphins facility. In NFL circles, these sightings usually mean one thing: contract talks are deep enough to justify a face-to-face meeting. Given Miami's push for offensive firepower, this move makes all the sense in the world. The AFC East is a brutal division, and adding Cook's vision, burst, unproven big playability could be the edge they need to challenge Buffalo and keep up with a loaded Jets roster. What makes this potential signing even juicier is the personal connection. Cook is a Miami native, a product of the local football culture that has churned out NFL stars for decades. He grew up just a short drive from Hard Rock Stadium, dreaming of one day playing under the blazing Florida sun while family and friends cheered him on. Now, that dream might finally be becoming reality. Imagine the storylines. A hometown hero returning to uplift his team, to write a new chapter in a city that already adores its football legends. The Dolphins' offense, led by Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, would become an even bigger nightmare for defensive coordinators. And with Cook in the backfield, Miami could balance its high-flying passing attack with a ground game capable of chewing up yards and clock. It's a move that feels right emotionally, strategically, and from a marketing standpoint too. Of course, as with all NFL rumors, there's a small dose of skepticism floating around. Some analysts caution that while Cook's talent is undeniable, his recent injury history might have scared off other suitors earlier in free agency. Yet Miami seems unfazed, perhaps seeing this as a low-risk, high-reward gamble on a one-year I'll-prove-it deal. A short-term contract means Cook gets the chance to showcase his skills in a dynamic offense, potentially setting himself up for a bigger payday next offseason. For the Dolphins, it's an investment that doesn't lock them into a long commitment, but could pay massive dividends if he stays healthy. And you can bet the coaching staff has already envisioned creative ways to use him alongside the speed they already possess. The whispers around the league say this isn't just a flirtation. The paperwork is likely already being drafted in the Dolphins front office. From a competitive standpoint, the timing is interesting. The Dolphins are clearly looking at the AFC East landscape and realizing they need every possible weapon to keep pace. Buffalo remains a powerhouse with Josh Allen. The Jets have doubled down with Aaron Rodgers, and even New England's defense is never an easy out. Adding Dalvin Cook sends a message. Miami isn't just here to participate, they're here to contend. His skill set fits perfectly with head coach Mike McDaniel's offensive philosophy, which thrives on misdirection, speed, and creating mismatches. Imagine defenses trying to track Tyreek Hill on a deep route while Cook bursts through a gap for 20 yards. The potential combinations are endless, and that's what has Dolphins fans salivating. This could turn their offense from dangerous to downright terrifying, and in a division this stacked, those small upgrades can be the difference between a playoff berth and an early vacation. It's also worth noting the psychological boost this could bring to the locker room. A player of Cook's caliber doesn't just bring talent, he brings credibility. Younger players will see a proven Pro Bowler choosing to join their squad, reinforcing the belief that Miami is becoming a destination franchise. Veterans will recognize the front office's willingness to go all in for a shot at glory. And for Cook himself, returning home could reignite that extra fire, that sense of pride and responsibility that often pushes athletes to another level. This isn't just about yards and touchdowns. It's about identity. The Dolphins have been building a culture, and adding a local star could cement that foundation. The fans will feel it, the players will feel it, and if the rumors prove true, the rest of the league will feel it too. Every time Dalvin Cook lowers his shoulder and breaks through the line. Financially, the deal is rumored to be team-friendly, but with incentives that could make it very rewarding for Cook. Sources suggest a base salary that fits comfortably under Miami's cap, paired with performance bonuses tied to rushing yards, touchdowns, and playoff milestones. This structure makes sense for both sides. The Dolphins protect themselves if injuries strike, and Cook has every reason to perform at his peak. Plus, a successful season in a high-profile market like Miami could elevate his value far beyond what it might be in a smaller market or backup role. And let's not forget, the Florida tax situation doesn't hurt either. Players keep more of their earnings here, which is a subtle but real advantage. All in all, this rumored contract seems like the perfect middle ground. Manageable for the team, motivating for the player, and thrilling for a fan base that's hungry for a championship run. The fan reaction online has been explosive. Twitter timelines, Instagram stories, and fan forums are buzzing with mock-ups of Cook in aqua and orange, highlight reels from his Vikings days, and predictions about how many touchdowns he'll score in his first game. Some are already planning to order his jersey before the ink even dries, while others are cautiously optimistic, remembering how hype doesn't always equal results. Still, the energy is undeniable. This kind of buzz in early August can carry momentum into training camp and preseason, creating a sense of anticipation that sells tickets and fills stadium seats. If Cook indeed signs today, expect his first practice in a Dolphins uniform to be packed with media, fans, and maybe even a few celebrities. Miami loves its stars, and this move, if finalized, could be the perfect way to ignite the 2025 season with a bang. Rival teams are watching closely too. Buffalo, the Jets, and New England all understand what a weapon Cook can be, especially when he's paired with other elite playmakers. Defensive coordinators will now have to account for an extra dimension in Miami's offense, potentially forcing them to rethink their entire game plans. And in a league where margins are razor thin, that's a big deal. Even beyond the division, playoff contenders in the AFC are surely taking note. Kansas City, Baltimore, and Cincinnati have all thrived on balanced attacks. Miami might be about to join that club in a big way. Cook's ability to control the pace of a game could help the Dolphins in critical moments, keeping the defense fresh and opponents off balance. If this deal closes today as expected, it's not just a Miami story, it's a league-wide development. That could shift the balance of power. So here we are, on the brink of what could be one of the most exciting offseason moves in recent Dolphins history. Dalvin Cook in Miami isn't just a football transaction, it's a homecoming, a marketing dream, and a tactical upgrade all rolled into one. The final step is simple: signatures, photos, and the official announcement. Until that press release hits, it remains a rumor, but one so strong, so widely reported that it feels more like an open secret. The Dolphins front office has been aggressive in shaping this roster, and Cook's addition could be the crown jewel of their offseason. Fans will keep refreshing their feeds, reporters will keep chasing updates, and somewhere inside the Dolphins facility, the finishing touches might already be in motion. If the whispers are right, today's the day Miami gets a whole lot faster, tougher, and maybe even a little bit closer to glory. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.